Have you ever wondered what the material that covers your watch dial is? And no, it's not glass. There's a couple materials, each offering their own durability, cost, advantages, and disadvantages. We're going to go through them today. This is everything you need to know about watch crystals. All right, we'll get right into it. So you can categorize your watch crystals into three main groups. You've got your acrylics, your minerals, your sapphires, and yes, that's going from the most fragile and least durable to the most durable and least fragile. You would assume that you would always want to go pick a sapphire because it's the most scratch resistant, it's the most durable, but it's not necessarily the case. And we're going to go over some examples as to why you might not want to go for the most durable option, and some examples of some quite significant timepieces throughout history that haven't actually opted to use the most durable crystal that exists. We are also going to add a little bit of a durability test just with kind of your everyday sharp stuff that your watch might come into contact with. I'm going to use probably like a screwdriver, some keys, just stuff that you might actually bang your watch against. So without further ado, let's start with number one being the acrylic crystal. Now, yes, this is a very thick piece of acrylic crystal. Unfortunately, this is the only crystal that I could get sent to my house in time for this video, but rest assured, it is the exact same material, even though it's not actually a watch crystal. It's just a thick piece of acrylic, but it'll have the exact same properties, rest assured. So acrylic really does not do well at all against scratches, and it really doesn't provide anywhere near the level of protection that a sapphire would, as you can clearly see by this footage of me trying to scratch the acrylic crystal with random household objects. You can scratch acrylic on pretty much anything, but there's a big reason why I love them. And for one, acrylic crystals offer a very distinct warm tone that goes absolutely perfectly on some watches. The crystal is soft enough and malleable enough to be able to take a nice domed form, which provides a very beautiful vintage aesthetic. And on top of that, it really does a great job at providing a very warm undertone to the watch. On top of that, just as easily as you can scratch it, you can actually fix it. Here's some footage of me rubbing off some scratches using some polywatch. I'm going to leave a link to this video down below just on how you use it. Polywatch is fantastic. It works on any kind of soft crystal, and on a watch with an acrylic crystal, any scratches you have will rub right off. So I'll leave a link down below if you're looking to maybe polish up some of your acrylic crystals. I also want to give you guys an example of a watch in the past that has used an acrylic crystal. Now, this is the Omega Speedmaster, very, very, very famous. You can get it in what's called a Hesalite crystal. Hesalite is just what Omega calls acrylic. That's really all it is. Now, you can see that this watch comes in two different models. You have the Omega Speedmaster with the original Hesalite crystal, and the Omega Speedmaster, what they call the Sapphire Sandwich, which is literally just a sapphire on top and then a sapphire see-through case back. I'm going to put a picture of both these up on the screen, and you tell me which looks more vintage and which looks more true to its era. Without a doubt, it's going to be the acrylic one. It's a more gentle, more uniform doming. It has a much warmer tone to it. And if you look at the sapphire, the doming is more aggressive. It's got a more boxy shape, and it doesn't provide that same kind of beautiful vintage distortion. So if I were to pick between these two watches, I 100% would go with the acrylic for the reasons I just mentioned. On top of that, if I scratch it, $20 a polywatch, rub it off, you're good to go. The only time I would urge against not getting an acrylic is A, if the watch isn't intended to have any sort of vintage vibe, and B, if the watch is kind of like a tool watch, a diver, a pilot's watch, something like that. Those watches, you probably are going to want them to be a little bit more durable, so acrylic might not be the exact way to go. All right, moving up the hardness scale, we've got mineral crystal coming in at number 2. This is probably going to account for most of the watches on the market. It's more durable than acrylic, but yet not as durable as sapphire. It provides a great middle ground between the two. If you ever heard of Hardlex, which is a patented Seiko crystal, it's just a hardened version of mineral glass, making it more resistant than regular mineral, but not quite as good as a sapphire, which we're going to talk about next. In my personal opinion, Hardlex is the best all-arounder. You can get it beautifully domed, like on this Seiko Cocktail Time. It's very scratch resistant, very durable, and I have yet to actually have any nicks on my Hardlex crystals. And best part is, most of the time you'll find watches with Hardlex well below $500. Now, speaking of mineral crystals, you are sometimes going to hear the term sapphire coated mineral crystals being pushed by some brands. It really is just trying to fool you into thinking it's a sapphire crystal. Just because you hear sapphire, you go, oh, sapphire, it must be the most durable thing ever. But do be careful about what you read and what the actual specification of your crystal is. Mineral coated with sapphire is not the same thing as a sapphire crystal. Some watch companies will try to take advantage of kind of that language. So just do be careful. Obviously, a sapphire coated mineral is better than a mineral, but a lot of times these watches they tend to charge you a premium, using these buzzwords like sapphire coated mineral. So either get a mineral or get a sapphire. Kind of, if you hear sapphire coated mineral, kind of just maybe take a peek and see exactly what you're getting. You might be thinking you're getting a sapphire, but it's not. Okay, so just do be careful with that. But otherwise, if you don't need that vintage aesthetic of an acrylic and a sapphire crystal is too expensive, mineral crystal / Hardlex, phenomenal choice, the best all-rounder in my opinion. Moving on to the last one, right up there at the top, we've got the sapphire crystal. This is the head honcho, the most durable, the most scratch resistant, very difficult to nick it, very difficult to scratch it. It's right up there on the Mohs hardness scale. I think it sits about a number 9. They'll give you the top performance for scratch resistance, but the only downside you'll hear on YouTube is people say that they're brittle, which yes, sapphire is more brittle, which means it's more prone to shattering into a million pieces, which by the way, quick fact, that's actually the reason why Omega decided to use an acrylic crystal when they produced the original Seamaster, as opposed to a sapphire. It's actually for the shattering properties. If you try and snap an acrylic crystal, it only breaks into like 2 pieces, whereas a sapphire, if you smash that, it'll shatter into like tiny little fragments, which of course, for a watch being sent up into space, probably not the best outcome. So it did make a lot of sense that they chose an acrylic. But in the real world, does it really matter if sapphire is going to be brittle? Not really. I've never heard of anybody shattering their crystal. Like it's just one of those properties that doesn't really matter whether if your watch crystal is going to break and snap in 2 because you severely slammed it or you, I don't know, ran over it with your car or something. It doesn't really matter because at that point the crystal's shattered. So what do I care whether it breaks into 50 pieces or whether it breaks in half? You know what I mean? Like it's a moot point. But otherwise, sapphire, yes, you are going to pay a premium. Yes, you are going to get some really amazing scratch resistance. You probably won't get it domed, and you probably are going to get more of a cool tone to the watch. So just keep that in mind. But otherwise, if you want that scratch resistance, if you've got a diver, if you've got a pilot's watch, then a sapphire crystal is probably the way to go. So to wrap it all up, guys, if you're going vintage, if you want that vintage look, if you want the ease of being able to clean all scratches off, go with your acrylic. If you want that perfect middle ground where you want to watch to kind of walk around with every day, you need some scratch resistance, but you don't want to pay that price for a sapphire, minerals, way to go. Even better, a Hardlex, because Seiko Hardlex is just. And then the last option, sapphire, you want no scratches. You want your watch to be just impervious to absolutely anything, and you're willing to pay a little bit of an extra price. Sapphire is your way to go. So on that note, I hope you guys have learned a thing or two about watch crystals. If you haven't already, please leave me a like and subscribe down below. Let me know how you liked the video. Let me know if you learned something, and then we'll see you guys in the next one.